In any transaction, there are three parties. We've got the buyer, we've got the seller, and then we've got the agent. And one of the most important parts to really make a market be really fluid is to make sure that we've got motivation. So let's think a little bit about buyer motivation. Buyer motivation, we're seeing lots of people turn up. There's a lot of inquiries. There's people that open for inspections. They're registering, they're bidding at auction, they're making those things happen. They're doing pest and building inspections. They're doing all of the activities that a really motivated buyer wants to do. The media has got really positive media sentiment. It's encouraged them of that fear of not getting into a rapidly escalating market. We then ultimately have what we've got to call owner motivation. So these are sellers that are in this position that they actually know they need to sell. Maybe they've already bought, maybe they're committing to vendor paid marketing, maybe they're in a position they say we definitely want to sell now because we really want to profit from the current conditions. And then the third one after that is then what we've got to call agent motivation. And agent motivation is that literally we know there are deals together. I'm going to ring that person, talk to that person, bring them together, make that transaction happen because that is ultimately what great agents do. Now, this is such an important part because you've got all of these areas of motivation, but literally what we see when a market changes is all of a sudden seller motivation starts to fade, where they say, maybe we'll just wait to see if the market improves. Buyer motivation comes off because they're worried all of a sudden about interest rates and inflation and affordability and all of those things. And then agent motivation shifts because it's not as easy as it was. And all of a sudden, there is real skill that actually comes to the table to actually go and find buyers on a particular property if the campaign's marketing isn't actually working. And this is such an important part about saying that if you've got a 3-bedroom house and it's not selling, then let's get on the phone and go and ring all of the buyers that we've met that have come through 3-bedroom homes that we've sold over the course of the last 12 months. See if we can get 1 or 2 of those buyers to actually come through for a private appointment, get an offer on the property, and then get it sold. So what actually happens is that we ultimately hit these flat periods in our career because both seller and buyer and also agent motivation is literally out the window. Now, the other key component is to then think about what we go to call commitment. Now, if you think about seller commitment, somebody who's actually got a contract organized, who's paying for vendor paid marketing, is actually committed to actually selling. The buyer who's in a position that they're making offers, they're registering, they're bidding at auction. Those people are in a position they've already got their finance approved, they've got their deposit, they are actually committed to doing the transaction. And then you then go to agent commitment, which is actually about getting on the phones, measuring the numbers, booking the appointments, actually getting in front of people. And at the end of the day, you can make your business 100% market proof if you actually just get to a minimum of 3 appointments a day. If you're in a position that you meet with 3 people a day, you can't help but make something happen. Think about that. That's 15 appointments over the course of the week. That's 60 appointments over the course of the month. That's 600 appointments a year. If you met with 600 people, you can't help but turn that into 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 transactions. And that's what great agents do, is they realize the most important thing to make sure that your business seriously moves is to make sure that you've got the motivation and the commitment of both the seller, the buyer, and you as an agent. Make the decision to turn the switch, change the gears, and move yourself back into that position and get back into that winning position on a much more consistent basis.